So here you are working away, trying to get your stuff together, trying to get your playing better, and and you're having problems. You can't figure out why. Why can't I accomplish these things? Oftentimes, it has to do with technique. Why aren't my hands doing what my head says to do? So they just can't do it for some reason. So I've been really concentrating a lot on working on individuals' techniques. And I'm just going to show you a few things that are applied to that, how I'm applying it. So I'm going to move the camera down a little bit, move myself back slightly. And just do a little bit of playing. Oh, look like a freaking munchkin here. Okay, anyway. So one thing to talk about from a technique standpoint is when you go from open to closed to open in different rudiments, the ways that your hands and arms and everything change, like for instance in a long single stroke roll, from big movements to medium movements, little tiny movements. Okay. Another way to talk about technique is the pathway that your sticks take while you're doing those particular movements. So for instance, on the right hand, we want to pay attention to the pathway up and down, okay, from the side. So make sure that's not anything that's like this, where you're having to fight gravity. You get that little spinny thing or out, okay? Straight up and down, okay, which means you got to allow the stick to do what it wants to do. Be open enough in your grip to allow the stick to come straight up and down, okay? So we're talking about how you're holding the stick, how you're allowing gravity to potch back and forth, okay? On the left hand, which is even more interesting, I think, it's the same idea, okay, especially if you're using traditional grip. So here's pathways, trying to make it so that it's straight up and down as opposed to if you have your hand cocked, this idea, that you're fighting gravity all the time. You want to allow your stick to do the proper and natural thing it wants to do by freeing the stick up, okay? So the left hand, oftentimes with traditional players, they learn this technique, which is fine, for those idioms. But for our idiom, we're looking at something that's a little bit looser. So I have people cock their hands back a little bit or rotate their whole arm slightly to create more of a V here, so the stick is not wanting to fall away all the time, okay? And then they can use their thumb as the controlling factor instead of being, this. All right, so that's just my idea, So here's the single stroke roll from the set side point. Okay, big movements. Okay, wristed. So very little change in that pathways line anyway, okay? So the other thing I like to talk about is the pathway of the tip of the stick from this position, which relates to the angle that you are to your drums. So if you're too acute of an angle, you'll see the tip at the top, tip at the bottom, okay? And they're sort of in a different line. If I drew a straight line from where the tip is the bottom to the tip is the top, it's sort of an angle. And what we'd like to do is get close to this if we can. All right, so by altering the angle of where you are in relationship to the height of the pad or drum, okay, whether it be flat, okay, or way up, we're trying to make a pathway that looks like it's, pretty darn close. Okay, I'm gonna get down to where my stick is actually hitting. Pretty darn close to a straight line from the top from here to up here. Certainly a little bit this way is okay, all right, but I think too flat, you end up not taking advantage of gravity, which we all have to deal with. So a little bit of height from that. I'm really sort of cocking my body sort of weird to give you an idea. So with my stick pathway, I'm just going to try to line it up here. So that's with that hand, all right? Same idea with the left hand. Trying to line up that top and bottom to get an idea. That one's pretty good. So those are just the things that we can start to look at. while I'm here, I'm going to do some self-advertising. This is the Drumbrella. This is the product that I've been selling to protect the drum from weather. Take a look at it on site, on the website, drumbrellas.com. It's a playable weather cover, changes the drum sound slightly, not much. Certainly doesn't change much of the nuance of playing on the drum. So if you have questions, let me know. If you want some lessons, oh man, I'll do it for you. Get a hold of me, schedule them. So thank you for listening.